Welcome back, dream chasers, entrepreneurs. It's time that we talk about bold moves. And today we're talking about a topic that will probably hit close to home for many of you. Because I know you have big dreams. And as soon as you realize, ooh, this is what I want, the imposter shows up. Can you really do this? Aren't there already many people doing exactly that? Who do you think you are? And I bet you recognize that feeling. Well, fear not. Today, I'll share some insights on how to move through these anxious moments and actually move forward to grow your business, because that's the goal, right? Let's get started, shall we? This is what usually happens. As soon as we realize, oh, this is what I want, and this brings so much excitement in our bodies, in our heart, we cannot wait for it to actually become a reality. We can envision the possibilities, but suddenly there's this doubt, the imposter syndrome. It sneaks in, whispering doubts, fears, making us question our own abilities. And this is what usually happens when I see my clients making bold moves. And this is what usually happens to me when I make bold moves as well. That initial excitement turns into fear. Our brain has a response system called the amygdala. And when it's triggered, it activates the fight or flight response, flooding our bodies with stress hormones. And as a result, our thinking brain will get deactivated. And this is actually very logical, because when we are threatened, when our lives are threatened, we don't need to think. We just need to run and get out of that situation, or we need to attack the person that is threatening our lives. Which means you cannot think yourself out of the situation. It's impossible. Now, here's the key. Instead of ignoring this, I feel it's essential to actually focus on nervous system regulation. So instead of ignoring that we are experiencing all kinds of fears, all kinds of emotions, all kinds of triggers in the body, I teach my students, my clients, to actually regulate the nervous system. Because this is how we train our body to make bold moves. It's so much better to acknowledge anxiety and to try and work with it instead of fighting it. So let's just say your bold move is starting your own YouTube channel or starting a new podcast. And the first time that you get in front of the camera, like I'm doing now, when you try to speak, you can only start every sentence with the word and you're asking yourself, why am I doing this? You get nervous. You feel like you will never make this YouTube channel or your new podcast a success. And this is what I talked about early, when anxiety kicks in. Works. You decide on a bold move. You go ahead, and then this whole process starts happening. Bold moves require courage. And sometimes that courage means taking action in the face of anxiety. So don't let fear paralyze you. Instead, learn how to regulate your nervous system. Learn how to work with it. And this is equally important, never stop moving, because you're training. And I always compare this to being in the gym. Let's say you start training with kettlebells and you pick up a kettlebell It's 8 kilos, it's heavy, but it's doable, and you start doing exercises. You will never assume that you can train with a kettlebell of 15 or 16 kilos right away. You know that you need to train your body, become stronger first, and then you can start using more heavier kettlebells, right? It's the same with bold moves. The more bold moves you make, the more you learn to deal with the anxiety that comes with bold moves. And remember that progress, no matter how small, always adds up. It accumulates. It's still progress. And the third topic that often holds us back from being successful in bold moves also has to do with our brain. It's called the RAS, the reticular activating system. And I will not repeat this many times. I will just say RAS because it's a tongue breaker. The RAS is an essential part of our brain. It manages our perceptions, helping us to focus on what's important. Think of it as a gatekeeper for information. However, sometimes our RAS can work against us. It takes neutral information and turns it into something that creates anxiety in our bodies or that we are fearful of. And that holds us back from taking bold actions. And to give you an idea on how the RAS works, just imagine yourself with a friend, driving along a nice windy road on a sunny afternoon. And at the end of your drive, your friend says to you, there were many white cars that we saw. And you're like, white cars? I haven't even seen one. And this is how the RAS works. The perceptions are exactly the same. Like the input is exactly the same, but the output is widely different. So you need to become aware and train the RAS in your favor so that your perceptions are what are going to help you move forward and grow your business. And of course, this starts with awareness. That's why I'm telling you these stories. You need to be aware that not everything that you're thinking is actually the truth. And the RAS is the cause of this. So let me just challenge you on these deeply ingrained stories. Our RAS tends to enforce these stories. And if they're not beneficial for your performance, they will impact your business. So for example, let's just say you're doing a launch, and I see this a lot. No one is really responding, you don't get many likes, and your first perception is, I'm failing. No one likes this. And you stop the launch. You could also tell yourself the stories. Interesting. No one is responding yet, but everyone's watching. And this is how I'm going to succeed. This is just a sign of success that is coming. And it's inevitable. Do you see how that change in stories changes everything? And that is why we need to train ourselves. So are these stories serving you, or are they holding you back? Which stories can you discover in yourself? I've just given you the context. Now apply it to your business. What are you telling yourself? So what is happening and what do you make it mean? By consciously examining these stories, we can rewrite them into more productive narratives that will help us grow. And this is why I love making bold moves so much, because it challenges us to really examine our deepest thoughts, our most ingrained stories that we tell ourselves, and how we get to change that. So from now on, don't be afraid anymore when you make bold moves, but keep all of this in mind and keep growing. I'm very confident that you can. Do you want more stable income streams and have fun in the process? Check out the links in my bio. And don't forget my other videos on soulful strategies for online coaches to grow to consistent 10K months or beyond.